Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the indicator store of the series Do It Yourself. And today I want to cover how to automate and how to optimize the parameters of an indicator. And most important, which are the useful parameters of a report, because some people is asking me which is the performance or which is the win percentage of a system, and a lot of common questions. So let's cover everything about this so we can have an idea which is useful and which is not so useful. Okay, so here, for example, we have an example indicator. This is one of the most useful indicators for volatile markets as currently we are having on Nasdaq, for example. The TIS 8-year trend has a few parameters, okay? We can see the period of the 8-year. We are going to leave this by default, but the multiplier, as you can expect, the bigger the multiplier, the more change in the market that you need to change the trend. For example, if instead of 0.5 we place a 1, we can see that we get less signals. If we place 1.5, even less, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, let's go back to 1. Now we also have the number of bars. How many bars I want my trend line to cross to the other side. Okay, so let's say I need 10 bars. We can see the effect. Okay, we only get a crossover at this point because we have 10 bars crossing to the other side. The effect is that we have more strong signals. Let's go back to 1, the minimum. And then we also have the threshold. The threshold means the price not only has to cross to the other side, but it also must exceed a number of ticks, for example, 50 ticks. Okay, so we need to cross 500. You can see that we only get a signal here because there is a distance between the current trend and the current price of at least 500 ticks. So those are different parameters to define when to change the trend. The minimum of this is no threshold, only 1 bar, a small multiplier, and by small we can make it again 0.5, and then we get more signals. The smaller the multiplier, the more signals we get. But we can increase the other parameter. For example, I need 10 bars crossing the other side. Okay. Now you can say, oh, okay, we have a lot of parameters. Now, which is the best combination? Not only of the parameters, but also the target and the stop. Because if we want to use this combination, so I need to go to short, long, enter long, and pay attention where are the entries, okay? Because even if the signal is here, we need to take into account that the signal is painted at the close of the bar, this bar. So my entry is this. This is the possible fill at the close of the bar with the signal. Similar to the short, where we may get a fill near the close of that bar, and so on. So the question is, we have several parameters, and also we need to define which is the best target and the best stop. But we have a very useful tool on NinjaTrader, and it is the strategy analyzer. We already did a session, a video about that. But let's find quickly which are the settings to use on Nasdaq 5 minutes. Okay, strategy analyzer. We get this window. we select the strategy. The strategy is included with the indicator. Most of the indicators include a strategy. And usually the strategy is simple. It is just looking, if I have a plot, I enter the market. So it is very simple to create. Even if you don't have the strategy, it is really simple to create if you have another indicator and you want to optimize the parameters. I have videos about that. But let's say that you have the strategy. So now you want to optimize the parameters. So we select the strategy. For the ATR trend, the strategy is with TIS trend. I repeat, it is included with the indicator. And even if you don't have it, it is really, really simple to create. It should be more or less in this area. This one. And we can see that it has the same parameters of the indicator. Now, I want to optimize NASDAQ on 5 minutes. So, let me remove from the middle here. Okay. So, on NASDAQ, and especially on 5 minutes, we need to test big targets. Let's say between 50 and 500 in intervals of 50. And you can say those are big, but I am testing a broad range from the smallest one, because 50 is something really small, to the biggest one. And just to give you an idea how much is 50 ticks on this chart, you can use a ruler and measure between 2 points and specify that you want the measure in ticks. Okay? Now look at the number of ticks. How much is 50? More or less here. Okay? So really small. You can imagine that all the bars are bigger than that. So the slippage error is important with that number. But no problem. We can try from 50 to 500 in intervals of 50. The same for the stop. From 50 to 500 in intervals of 50. For the period, I am going to leave the default, because the ATR usually we use 14, but not for the multiplier. We saw that we can use really small numbers like 0.5, where we get a lot of signals, and I don't know, maybe 3 is too much in intervals of 0.5. For the threshold, we can try no threshold, something more or less twice the smallest target. Let's say 100. In intervals of 10, 20, I only want to test 10 different combinations inside this. For the number of bars, we saw that the minimum is 1, and I guess no more than 10 in intervals of 1. Now you need to take into account that each combination needs to be multiplied by the other, so we have a lot of backtests to calculate. I am going to avoid using the filter. The filter is the last resource. Okay, if we cannot make it work, then we filter. And the instrument is NASDAQ, NQ. We are using 5 minutes. And for the date interval, I suggest testing 3 months, more or less. The real number is that you need more than 100 trades, okay? But you don't know how many trades you have on a date interval. So let's start with 10 months. 3 months. 3 months. Avoiding the holidays, no? December and January, first and last week of December, first week of January. Including commissions and That will be everything. If I click on run, I can see the number of combinations that we have at the bottom. 66,000. So we can wait, it may take more or less half hour. But we already saw on the previous video that we can use the genetic method. The genetic is an approach method. So we don't need to keep testing in an area where it is not working, because testing one tick higher, one tick lower than a parameter that is not working makes no sense. So if it is not working here, I go to the other side. This is more or less the idea of what is doing the genetic. Just testing and approaching to the areas with better results. And here we can specify how many backtests I want to execute. So we start with a generation of 100 random combinations of the total combinations that we already saw. And it executes those 100 backtests, sort by profit factor, and repeat the test between the best numbers. How many times? 10. In total, we have 100 multiplied by 10, 1000 backtests. A number that we can wait. Okay, so we click on run. Now we need to wait 1000 backtests. It is testing it is taking more than usual because it changed again to 1 minute. I don't know why it is doing this. I guess it is a bug on NinjaTrader. We need to select from time to time again the time frame. On 1 minute, we have a lot of more bars and signals than on 5 minutes. So here we can see that we have less than 1 minute to calculate the first report. Usually we don't get good results on the first report. We need to approach the parameters. I also forgot to use the maximum profit factor for solutions with more than 100 tries. Let's see if it works. But yes, all the solutions have more than 100 trays. We can see here 10 solutions. Because we selected here, show the 10 best. Best according to the profit factor. So they are sorted by profit factor. Not sorted by win percentage. Now, if we look at the analysis on the equity curve, we have an idea of the first solution at the top, which is the equity curve. The profit factor is 1.8. We already saw that we need a profit factor greater than 1.4. So that will be okay. We also need more than 100 trades. This is also okay. And the win percentage is 88%. So we are making 8 winners, 2 losers, more or less. But again, this number is not important for those who are asking me which is the win percentage, because you may have a win percentage lower than 50. Even so, if the target is bigger than the stop, then it is a good solution. And you can see that we have several solutions here. So that depends on the format. And also we are using the genetic method. It means that if I execute run again, we will get different results. Let me select profit factor for more than 100 trades and check if we get different or better results. And you can repeat test after test because everything is stored on the log here at the bottom. Let's wait to finish this. You can see the log of all your reports. So you can choose the best of everything that you tested. Okay, this is another solution, different. from the previous. Now we have almost 90%. Most of the top 4 profit factors are good, but the equity curves are different. This is for the solution. This is different. Another solution. Another solution. Of course, what are you going to select depends on what you prefer, because maybe you prefer this solution with a 78% of winners, because you need to check also the parameters. Here we are using 100 for the target, 400 for the stop. On the best solution, we are using 50 for the target, 400 for the stop. Also, the net profit is different for each solution, and we are not sorting by net profit. We are sorting by profit factor. It is a performance of the system. And you can also sort by win percentage, but again, this is not usual or useful report, because this number, it can be any number and the performance is good. The important is the robustness of the system. Now, let's say that we are okay with this because we have a good number of trades, so the statistic is valid. We have a good profit factor, so the system is robust. We have an equity curve going to the upside for the last days, and this is the most important. So everything is okay. It is trading 24 hours because here we selected default the instrument settings, and also you can check the hours per each average trade, because there is a report hour of day entry time where you can see hour by hour. Those are the entry times. Okay, so if you trade from 7 to 4 p.m., then your results are really good. Okay, you can ignore the rest. This is a good way also to detect which is the best time to trade this setup. So with all of this, but the most important is this part where we have the settings. We need the target, the stop, and the parameters. For the multiplier, it is using 1, for the threshold 50, for the number of bars 7. The final part will be, okay, I want to automate this. And if you have the strategy, this strategy, you can apply the strategy to the chart and do exactly that. But if you have markers, you can just automate the signals of the indicator with those settings. Now, how can I do both? Let me show you both methods. Method number 1, you don't have markers, but you have the indicator and a builder strategy. So you can apply the strategy. That we saw with TIS ATR trend. Okay, the strategy is here. Now we set the parameters. The target 50. We can see it here. The stop 400. The ATR period 14, 1 here. 57, 50, 7, 1 and disable. 1 and disable. Okay? Usually you select the count here, and there is no place to select the time on this strategy, but you can edit the strategy because it is a builder strategy. And we can see that the strategy is now on the strategies tab. If I enable the strategy, we can see the places where we should have the orders executed. And you can see there is no match between the indicator and the strategy. Makes sense because the indicator has different settings. So we can change the indicator settings to 14, 1, 50 for the threshold, 7 for the number of bars, and now they match. I don't see the orders, so check on data series, right click, data series, execution, do not plot. This is the default. So if you turn this to text and marker, now you can see the order execution. Those are simulated orders, okay? But from now to the future, it is working live. So those are historical calculated signals. But now if I get a signal, it is going to execute on your selected account. Okay, so this is the method number one. Now let me remove the strategy. Okay, let's turn off that mess. Again, from data series, do not show nothing. Perfect. And now I want to execute the setup with markers. So I need to copy the longs, I need to copy the shorts. So indicators, markers copy, long signal, or whatever you want to use. I usually use go long for the name of my signal, and it is a fast signal. And what I want to copy on input series, I select the indicator, this indicator, no? TIS ATR trend with all the parameters 14, 1, 50, 7, 1. And the plot I want to copy are the signal up. Okay? And let me make the dot really big so we can see the dot 3 and cyan. Okay, so the copy of the signal is a cyan dot. Just for checking that the visual signal is overlapping the copied signal, so we are okay. Now I need the short signal, so I can select that signal with the left click, right click, and copy. Select on another place, so it is unselected, no? the copied signal. Right click and paste. Now I have two copies of the same signal with the same shape. They are posed here. Can you see at the bottom? Two copies doing exactly the same. But now I can change that copy for the shorts. Go short. Important that it is a fast signal. Also, we can change the color instead of cyan, yellow or yellow. Okay, and also the plot, because it is a different plot. So on input series, the indicator is already selected, already configured with all the parameters. We only need to select the signal down. Okay, and okay. Now we can see the other dot. This is go long, this is go short. Now we only need to add markers. Where we select fast signal mode, name for the longs, name for the shorts. Okay. And you can see that at the top we have, first of all, we need to select an ATM. Okay, so we need to say which is the target and which is the stop. And the way to define that is from NinjaTrader, where we need to select an ATM with 50 for the target, 400 for the stop. If I don't have one of those, I have one similar here, 50 versus 350, but you can create one from here. For example, 400 for the stop, 50 for the target, as we have here. Save as a template, change the name, 400, save, okay. And now that I have the ATM selected on NinjaTrader, I can click on select a valid ATM. So now Markers is using the ATM with the correct target and the correct stop. We also need to select which account you want to trade. For example, this one or this other one. Okay, this account. So we need to select here. And now if I want to trade all the signals, long, shorts, and all of them, I select automatic mode, enable all the longs, enable all the shorts. So it is ready to trade all the signals. But we have more options because we already saw that it is really nice working from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. 7, 16:00:00. 4 p.m. is 16. So from 7 to 16. So here we can select on Markers that the time to trade is from 7 a.m., 7 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, and 16:00:00. And I want to close position before the end of the session. Currently, in my local case, it is 17:00:00. Okay? Any remaining position should be closed after this time. Also, I can set daily limits, as you can see, because maybe 500 is too small or too much. So we can select here how is the net profit by day, no, but by hour. So here, no, by daily net profit, and this is what we usually do, more or less 800 for the daily target, unless you don't want to stop trading unlimited. But for the losers, I suggest using a stop more or less near the average, let's say 600. 600 for the maximum daily loss. Each one of those bars is a day. Okay, so I don't want to go more than 600. And we can set that from here. Stop trading if we reach 600 negative. And for the positive, I don't know, 1500. Okay? Perfect. This is ready. If for some reason I don't want to take the following long and short, I just disable that. Okay, that's everything for today. The idea is to explain how you can use strategy analyzer to optimize the parameters of any, not only this, any strategy. And if you don't have the strategy, you can create it. I am going to post a link in the description where I explain how to create a strategy with Builder to automate your signals. So you can optimize the parameters of any indicator. So then you can trade those optimized signals. Thank you, everyone. If you have any question or comment, as usual, we have a chat room on Discord. And also we have a training course where I explain things like this. If you are interested, contact me on the chat room. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.